Now it is a great honor to introduce a distinguished scholar and educator, Professor Michele Friend of George Washington University. Professor Friend is a renowned philosopher and professor at George Washington University. Her expertise lie in philosophy of mathematics with a focus on logic, pluralism, and foundations of mathematical thought. Professor Friend brings intellectual depth and a principled voice to every conversation on truth, reason, and justice. We are grateful to have her with us today. And now please join me in warm welcoming Professor Michele Friend.
It is an honor for me to address you here today, and I thank you for the invitation. I speak to you as a concerned citizen and as a philosopher. The good news is I'm not a long-winded philosopher. I'll keep it very short. We are here to pay homage to the 120,000 Iranians executed by the regime in Iran. They fought for freedom, responsibility, peace, and democracy. To put the numbers in perspective, the population of Iran is 90 million people. It's 1% of the world's population. So 1 in 900 have been executed. Also, in comparison, in the last 15 years, there have been 22 people executed in the United States. A regime that executes its own people, especially for political reasons, people it pretends to govern, is pathological. It harms itself. In contrast, proper governance is about fostering and enabling people. Proper governance encourages debate and participation in decisions. The mark of a democracy is the ability to peacefully oppose the governing body without fear of retribution. To everyone here, it is clear that the present regime of Iran does not govern properly. Indeed, the escalation in domestic violence over the last year testifies to the fear and insecurity of the present regime. The conflict with Israel testifies to the fear and insecurity of both Israel and Iran. Violence is a last measure. It is a desperate measure. The present situation in Iran is very delicate. I see either more drastic domestic political suppression, along with war against Israel, civil war, or capitulation of the regime. We might see all three in that order. We are gathered here to support swift capitulation and to help shape the future. It is in this way that we can honor the 120,000 Iranians executed by the regime. Let us turn to the future. Especially with a violent regime change is an unpredictable, delicate, and vulnerable moment in the history of a nation. There is a power vacuum that is created, and that vacuum will be filled. Mariam Rajavi, leader of the National Council of Resistance of Iran, is ready to fill the vacuum, to bring about real change. See her 10-point plan. She intends not to rule, but to set up a long-lasting democracy with freedom of choice in religion, freedom of work, and freedom of political opinion. To ensure longevity, a healing process will have to be instilled deeply in the culture. Resistance will have to be replaced with healing of self and of others. This is why women leadership is important. With women leadership, the healing can be properly started. To think about it, it is hard for a military-trained person to turn to healing. When Maryam Rajavi steps into the power vacuum, Iran will have a real chance to be an example to the world of how a delicate regime change can replace resistance and suppression with healing. She will have to be strong to maintain order, order for healing, not for power and suppression. This can only be done by good leadership, education of women, economic, social, and legal equality between men and women. The replacing of resistance with healing will not be instant. Patience and forgiveness will only gradually replace forbearance and suffering. I say that the healing will have to be instilled deeply for longevity, and that it will take time. This is because trauma marks our bodies and sits deep in our bodies for up to 7 generations. What is more, trauma is not only borne by the victim, but also by the inflictor. This is why forgiveness will be important and very difficult. The leaders of the regime today are despicable, desperate, and frightened. They probably are past healing and forgiveness. However, amongst those who work for the regime, many were coerced. Many have worked for the regime against their own hearts. The regime did not just use rewards to coerce so-called supporters, but also used threats to individuals and to families in the form of imprisonment and executions. Henchmen, denouncers, jailers, and executioners are rightly afraid of retribution should there be regime change. Now consider, if the many coerced supporters of the elite of the present regime are convinced that the new regime will have the wisdom and power to replace resistance with healing and forgiveness, they will put down their cudgels and will stop protecting the power elite. Deep inside, they know they need to heal and that they need help in healing. Through the healing and forgiveness, democracy can be relearned and cultivated. Democracy has to be fought for, not by armed combat, but by self-mastery, quiet and humble inner discipline. It is humility born of confidence, not a humility of weakness and submission, but of confidence. The sort of humility we often see in the women of Iran. The good news is that you have a powerful organization that is ready to assume power. It is an organization that shares this philosophy of power. A power born of love and respect. A power worth having. Maryam Rajavi is ready. The National Council of the Resistance of Iran is ready. You are ready. All the people who could not come to this rally for fear of retribution towards their family in Iran, they are ready. The people of Iran are ready. Even the coerced supporters of the regime will soon be ready. The wisely regulated regime change is how we will honor the 120,000 people executed. Thank you.